Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest today. We have an encore appearance by one of our favorite authors, Keith Carreiro, sci-fi genius, and he has written parts 1 and part 2 of The Penitent. Here is a copy. This was the first one, The Penitent. Those of you who may remember the first one, he has the second copy, part 2. He has. Oh, good. You brought these. Very good. Parts 1 and part 2. That's one. Now this is the one that's coming up in August, right? Hold it up. There you go. Penitent 3. Now that's coming up. You're going to be launching it August 18th in Rhode Island at
Stillwater Books.
Stillwater Books. That's in Pawtucket?
Yep. On
Okay.
175 Main Street.
What time?
2 p.m.
Now,
Sunday.
that's his birthday, too. 2 p.m. And what's the address?
175 Main Street.
He's got that memorized. Okay.
Yeah.
170. No cost. Just come in if you want to meet Keith in person, help him launch number 3 of his sci-fi series.
Slice of cake.
Oh, cake.
Prizes.
Lemonade?
Yep.
All right. Now, I don't know where to begin. You have prepared so much. Those of you who followed 1 and 2, now we've got 3 coming up.
Yeah.
Now, this will be a little different than the others. You've done a heck of a lot of research on this. Where do you want to begin?
Well, I don't know that we talked about the 3rd book.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
So we could talk about that.
Yeah.
And the preparation for the next. There's going to be 3 trilogies.
Yeah.
First trilogy is done. So for me to start on the second trilogy, I have to establish a whole galaxy, worlds in a galaxy.
Oh. Thanks.
And to do that, before I start writing, I have to myself personally, as the writer or the creator, I have to feel that there's an established pattern and worlds that are there, so that that is in the background. So that when the reader is going through the material or going through the story or the arc of the story, he or she will feel the depth that's there. At least that's the goal. So I've tried to create a history of or a timeline leading to 2562.
That's pretty far off.
And 500 years. What's going to happen to humanity in 500 years from now?
Yeah.
I mean, we're worried enough next week.
Yeah. Every day.
Right. It seems like a 24-hour period now is what we used to think of was a year.
You got it.
I mean, at least our generation, because so many things are going on.
Yeah.
Social media fills up, I think, a lot of our time and space, our memory banks. So, what's going to happen 500 years from now? What does that look like? I said before. I think I said before. There's no more nations. There's only there's 12 power bases. Mm-hmm. They're remnants of the former nations that now are spread out through this part of the galaxy.
There's one for Japan, one named after Russia.
Yep.
He's got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Tell us about those ones. Those people who are real sci-fi fans are going to love this.
So, can you pick this up, Paul?
No, that's pretty small, isn't it?
Can you pick that up?
Let's see if we can do that. Do you have it memorized?
No.
No. Can you get it? Up a little bit. There you go. This is the history he's done on his book. All the sci-fi places. Did it get in? Okay, you're all set.
So what you have here, there are 12 power bases, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 groups.
Yeah.
But they're not all. In other words, you have like Axis powers and Allied powers.
The first one is like Japan. I remember you telling me. The next one is what, Africa? Python?
The first one here, I put my glasses on so I can see what.
Paul, did you get a shot of these before he begins, of his gorgeous... take a look at these beautiful posters he's got of his... These are the first 2.
Now see, to establish that world, I had the artist try to create... Because Paul and John Savage go into this, what I call a sylvan wood, which is very much like Tolkien's understanding of Middle Earth. and nature. It has a beauty to it, which is its own sense of being and knowledge and goodness. And I wanted to have like a Maxfield Parrish look.
See, with this one, now we're going to focus on number 2.
And I think the artist Hollis Mahala really captured that for me. And when I got them and I put them up, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I said, wow, this is a visual, because it's only been in images in my mind, and then to be able to see it like this, it's
Well, if you go to an author's expo, there's no way you're going to miss Keith. Keith, what is the A. Keith Carreiro? What does that stand for?
Alan. My mother fell in love with Alan Ladd.
Oh, okay.
And she was intrigued by the name, so she gave me, I went by Alan. But there's like, at that time growing up, there were 3 or 4 Allens in my family. And so when I went to college in 1966 at the University of Maine, they made a mistake. They had me as Keith Allen. And then when I tried to go back to Allen, they said, no, you're Keith. And that was like over 50 years ago.
So that's it.
So that's it. Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah. So I'm Keith now.
He's got this all mapped out, his characters and where they're going to be, right on his computer.
Yes.
How many hours would you say, days, that you put into this?
Just these 3 charts right here, you're looking at 3 weeks of probably 8 to 12 hours a day.
Keith, before we forget, tell people where you've been appearing and where you're going to be appearing.
I've been at different bookstores. I've been doing some other video documentary work. Been doing some signings throughout mostly Providence area, Rhode Island. I'm going to be at what's known as the Lively Literati, which is part of the Association of Rhode Island Authors, in October, close to Halloween.
Where's that going to be held?
That's going to be held at, oh my God, they're going to have a fit with me. It's going to be held in Providence at one of the clubs.
The Lively Literati.
Yeah, I've got it on my phone somewhere.
You're going to be there, right? A lot of other authors are going to be there too?
No, yes, but I'm the featured guy.
Oh, they're going to zero in on you.
Yeah.
Terrific. Now, that's going to be in October,
Yep.
so you can keep track of that. But you've been up here, I know now. You've been...
I went to where?
Yeah, you've been on television. Was it Franklin?
Yes.
Okay. Where else have you been on?
Where? This sounds like a Abbott and Costello routine.
So you met our instrumentalist.
Yes.
He interviewed you.
Gary.
Gary?
Yeah.
He is different. He is amazing. He is very thoughtful.
Yes.
Slow. Did you have fun?
I did, but he has a very different style.
Very.
And like you said, it's very, very laid back.
Yes.
And we didn't much talk about the writing. We talked more about creativity.
That's scary. And then Franklin, who was the one who interviewed you?
That was they were members of the Cape Cod Writing Center. Hugh Blair Smith was the person who did it.
He has a regular show there?
That is a regular show. There's different hosts, and I think that was his first show. So I probably broke the bank.
There you go. Now, what have you got coming up for people?
What do I have coming?
Well, the August 18th.
Yeah, I'm in sort of a lull right now because I want to concentrate on preparing for the conference next week and getting a block of writing done.
Yeah.
So I haven't set up anything much in August and July, but I'm going to start being a contact crazy person because I want to have in the fall a lot of
you want them lined up. You want them,
Yeah.
and you're also a professor. And what do you teach?
anything they let me. Usually English composition, English literature,
Yeah.
anything to do with English, philosophy, logic, ethics,
Yeah.
social behavioral sciences.
No math, right?
No, I'm not a math person. Although I love theory, I love to listen to the theory.
You do.
And come up, how they come up with what they come up with.
All right, now let's get back to part number 3. Number 3 in his trilogy. This is the end of this trilogy coming, okay?
Yeah.
This is the new one. And then you're going to start, have you started the whole next trilogy?
No, I'm just right now. I'm just painting the picture for me of what this trilogy, where it's going to take place.
Right.
So as it says here, you've got 12 levels of technological development.
Starts from 12,000 BC
Yeah.
to 7,000 BC, goes all the way up to 2360, right? Or
2562.
2560. So you had to use your imagination a lot.
Yeah, and I've been doing a lot of research. I've done a lot of science fiction reading. I've listened to a lot of people who are futurists, and then I had to stop listening to them and hear what my sense of the future is.
Your own muse.
Right. I had to listen to that,
Yeah.
and I came up with some interesting things. I believe I tried to do it differently because a lot of the science fiction takes place, for example, like the Terminator, The Road. The book. They have the Book of Eli, where you have like an Armageddon, and then that Armageddon, that's the end.
Yeah.
But I don't do it that way. I have it's like the first Armageddon, which means that there's going to be others,
Yeah.
and that occurs between 2100 and 2175.
We won't be around, I don't think.
No, and then there's the Dark Ages, right? In Latin called Seculum Obscurum. Where you have a societal collapse, so you go from 12 billion people to 5 billion people.
This is going to be number 3, right?
This is number 4. This is preceding number 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, I thought the
That's
3.
what that world. No, this is all the work for the second trilogy.
Oh my gosh, you're already on that. So there'll be 3 books on that one too.
Correct. It's going to
This
be
is a busy person.
9-book series.
Keith, how can they get a hold of your book?
You can go on my website, which is www.immortalitywars.com, and you can order there, or you can go to Amazon.com and just write in A. Keith Carreiro or Carreiro, Carreiro, and you should find me easily enough and order from there. It's in a Kindle and paperback.
Would you prefer to be called A. Keith Carreiro or just Keith Carreiro?
Keith is fine.
Just that, yeah. So
Yeah, I'm honoring my mother by keeping the A.
I got it. Is your mom still with you?
No.
No.
I lost her at 2000.
Did she know how successful you were or going to be?
No, I don't know. I think she always was bemused by me because I marched to my own drum beat, I think.
What about your dad?
He as well. And they were both very, very different people.
Oh, mine too. Now, were you the only? I forgot if
I am the only child.
So
Yeah.
you had a benefit. I know my son is an only. I was practically an only. There's a huge age difference. It's different because you grow up basically surrounded by adults.
Yes.
So I am very comfortable with much older people. And growing up, my peers, if a little bit older or a little younger, it was the strangest thing. Did you find that too?
Yeah, but what I found, what was fascinating, was that the older people, some of them were musicians, and some of them were incredible storytellers.
Yeah.
So I was always fascinated in watching them because they took on a different persona when they told a story.
Mm-hmm.
Something. Now I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it.
That was my mother. She'd read a book. She'd be the
yeah, and I would say, what just happened?
Yeah.
And you get lost in the story, and you get lost in another world, and then because I'd be a pest, and I'd say, well, why did this happen?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Yeah.
Tell me another story.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
that's where he gets a lot of this. Now, before I forget, when are they going to be able to get your part 3?
we're working on that.
Well, it's going to be out by the 18th.
It's going to be out by the 18th. So I would say go on my website, again, www.immortalitywars.com, and you can keep track of what's going on there. The first 2 books are being republished. The first 2 books were like learning experiences for me, and we've got Jamie Forgetta as the artist who did the maps. It's going to be 3 maps, Paul.
There you go.
You got this.
Take a look at that one, Paul. 3 maps. Now that's going to be the map of where it begins.
This is the first trilogy's map. This is where the setting is, where the story takes place. This is the Western Isles and West Funland. And it was a blast doing this because you had, again, when you create fantasy and science fiction, you're creating whole new worlds. And so there's a cool little chart here. We came up with places, the mountains, the belt of Aria, the Arklow Mountains, the Valraven Range, the Droom Peaks. There's a little sea serpent in here.
I see that.
And it's I don't know. It's been a blast doing this.
How many hours a day, Keith? I mean, you're so busy. How many hours do you spend writing?
when I get into it, it varies because the muse doesn't stay with me all the time, and so you have to drop back on discipline. So I would say my target is to write a minimum of 500 words every day.
Wow.
Which is not much.
To me, it would be.
Yeah, but it's not much.
Yeah.
Maybe 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. There's 250 words typed on.
Do you just go along and I'll correct it later while I have the idea?
Absolutely.
That's a good way to do it. Just
for me, yeah, because I tend to be a perfectionist, and if I get lost in doing that, I'll lose the thread of the creative edge. I'll lose the thrust of the story, and then I'll get bogged down into the detail. And I don't want to get bogged down in details at that point.
Well, where
I just want to
find
get it out.
The time to write when you go back to the teaching?
I can't do it.
That's why you want to get this number 3 out there.
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder, because I'm thinking, I was
do it.
trying to picture you. Like, how is he going to teach and do this?
No, I can't. I can storyboard.
Yeah.
But I can't do the writing.
Don't forget that the holidays. I always tell my authors, the holiday season is coming up. People are always looking for something to give to people. You got a trilogy right here, a sci-fi. So you're going to get you out there more because the holiday season is coming. Definitely.
You know, and it's funny too because this is Christian-based in the background. So for Christmas it would be perfect for that.
Oh, are you ready for the onslaught? Because people hear this.
It would be perfect, actually, yeah. When I talk about storytelling and how I get blown away by listening to family members tell stories, I also got lost in the movies, the big epics in the 50s that we experienced. And of course, they had new technology with the cinematography, the big screen, the wide screen. So when I saw Ben-Hur, the Ten Commandments, The Robe, and then read The Robe by Lew Wallace, who was a American Civil War general. It was just like transported into that world. And I think back then I wanted to do something like that. I wanted to be able to see if I could attempt it. Now, I'm not making any claims that I did it, but just to be able to put myself in that league of writing has been an honor to do. So it's been, for me, an epitome of my career as a writer to be able to do this work.
And I think you knew at a pretty young age, you loved sci-fi, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, you knew. And where did you go? Did you go to college?
Yes.
Okay. But you had no idea still that you would get this to fantasy sci-fi.
No. I went to the University of Maine at Orono.
Where?
Orono, Maine.
See, I was born in Portland. Where is Orono?
Portland is another maybe 3-4 hours north. It's just north of Bangor, 12 miles north of Bangor.
Okay, so Orono is a little further down near New Hampshire?
No, so you've got Maine like this.
Yeah.
Here's New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Okay, Massachusetts is over here.
Yeah.
So Orono's way up here.
Okay, so you were way up there.
Yeah.
Was that a 4-year school?
Yeah. They have masters in doctorate.
And you did
doctoral.
English? Was it English you majored in?
Yeah, I first started in wildlife.
Wildlife.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of wildlife out there.
Wildlife management and forestry and ecology. I wanted to be in the woods, but then I hit English, and there were some people up there that blew me away in storytelling again. There was anthropologists. There's a guy named Sandy Ives who was a much beloved professor who's in folklore, and he had a huge barn, and we had people come into that barn who were storytellers, musicians, folkies.
Sort of like Gary Blanchard.
Yeah,
his style.
and I played classical guitar.
Yeah. So
we would get together, and there would be, like in the middle of winter, way up there, it'd be like 20 below zero, and we have a wood fire going in this barn, and we'd be going till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Did you film it at all?
No, none of that was filmed.
Do you still play guitar?
Yeah, not much though. I teach it. I still teach it.
I didn't. You're teaching it.
Classical guitar.
So you're teaching that. You're teaching English or whatever else, and he's an author. Come up for air. What? My gosh! We're talking again with Keith Carreiro, and he is one of our resident authors, and he is a sci-fi fantasy author. He has a trilogy. The third part of that trilogy is done, and now we're waiting for it to come out so you can get it. Now, you're going to, when it comes out, we're going to get him back on again, too, because we want to show it to you.
Right.
Because we've got the first two. You can go downstairs in Upton, right? And you can pick this out, one and part two. And the third one, the colors are very much the same. They're, it's beautiful. Who is your, well, here we go. Who is your illustrator?
Hollis Mahala, Machala.
Now, this is the third part.
She lives in Rehoboth, Mass.
How did you meet her?
She's my cousin.
Oh, well, there you go, a little nepotism.
Nepotism. But she's very, very talented.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
When she first started, I watched her kind of mature as an artist. It's been phenomenal to see her. Her watercolors are so beautiful.
She's nailed it because of it, when you look at, I always go by the feeling of a book. When I look at it, do I really want to read it? Does it look intriguing? Boy, she has nailed it. Now, when your next trilogy, is it still going to be the same title, or what are you going to do?
The next trilogy is going to be called The Pilgrim.
The Pilgrim.
Right. Because, can I say this? The spoiler alert?
Well,
sure, why not? So one of the characters that are in this hyper-reality experiment blows out of the experiment and comes into the present. So I have a quote in my head that basically is a question: how can a construct get out of the construct itself?
Yeah.
In other words, how can this hyper-real experiment, a person in it, get out of that and get into reality? So that's part of the thought experiment that's going on through the 9 books, which I won't get into. But
you must wake up in the middle of the night or in the morning, and you have a paper.
I do. I have it right. As a matter of fact, the name of a character came to me last night.
When you slept and woke up?
I woke up and the name came to me of one of the characters.
You've got a good imagination. You really do. Now, do you have a piece of paper beside you in the car in case?
Yeah.
I do that too.
Yeah.
If I've got something I have to remember, oh yeah.
Yeah, one of the scientists' name is Gordon Yarrow, and that came to me in a dream too.
That came to you too.
Yeah.
I remember in 2nd grade, and I can still sing the song. It's nonsense. It's all gibber-dee. But I just made it up in 2nd grade, a song.
Have you ever heard the musician named Tom Lehrer?
No.
Oh, Google him. He's phenomenal. He was very popular in the 60s.
Yeah.
He made up these lyrics. He made up a song consisting of the atomic elements.
But it was all not in English, right?
No, it's in English. But he also wrote a song called Poisoning Pigeons in the Park.
Well, mine was like a foreign language.
Very, really?
Yes.
Wow.
It was I dreamt one time I was just a kid, and I dreamt one time I was giving a lecture to people about Louisiana water nymphs that come up out of the water. And I was giving a lecture about, it was all scientific. I was just a kid.
That is cool.
It's weird. It's really, really. Can you remember, with your imagination, do you remember all your dreams?
More and more.
Yeah.
And it's my mother that taught me that.
Yeah.
Because I'd have nightmares.
I have.
And I would wake up and I'd go complain to my mother.
Could you go back into it?
Yeah.
I could go back into a dream.
Well, she would say, you've got to be conscious that you're in a dream.
Yeah.
And say, this is a dream, wake up now.
Do you ever dream about your characters in The Penitent?
Yes.
And some ideas come to you about the next trilogy?
Yeah, I just wrote a short story, a throwaway story. That's in this. It comes from the 2nd book.
Yeah.
And it's about Evangel, it's at the end of that book. She's on her way to the High King's capital, and she's being escorted by the champion of the realm.
You dreamt this?
Yeah. So as she's as they're going, it's like a 20-day ride.
Yeah.
The champion, his name's Sir Trevelyan Ducour, which means heart in French, Ducour.
Yeah.
And he sends one of his officers over to entertain her with telling her a story. So this short story is the story he tells her on this journey.
And you dreamt this?
Yeah. And
so when you woke up, you wrote it down?
Right, and it's 4,999 words, and it's called A Knight's Tale, N-I-G-H-T''S, A Knight's Tale.
All from a dream.
Yeah, and it's like the it's an Arthurian type of, Grail story.
Yeah, almost a Camelot twinge to it.
Yeah.
Boy, those days of Camelot, I mean, I remember my father taking us to the Broadway production of Camelot, probably at the Cape Cod Penitent.
Right.
Do you ever go there?
Yes.
Boy, I was raised on that. You got theater in the round,
Yep.
and you could have Broadway shows right there.
Yeah, with great people.
And they still do it.
Yep.
And I know at intermission, I had a little girl, but I got a crush on one of the characters. And Dad says, would you like to meet the person? Sometimes the authors would come out onto the deck during the break for coffee, but they'd come out and say hello to the people. I went, no, I can't do that, no. He says, come on. He brought me right over. It was Roy Stewart. And he said,
That's all.
And he said,
That's
this,
really good.
and Roy was so sweet. Many, many, many years later, I wrote to Roy. I saw him on a commercial. And I said, well, I remember meeting. He was a little girl. I think he was being nice, but he said, he complimented me. I remember that little girl. I never forgot.
But that was thoughtful of him.
Very. And he was in Kiss Me Kate, which is brush up your Shakespeare, and all this. I grew up with that type of thing. So both parents were. Well, you said your mother was very that way.
She played guitar,
Yeah.
and when she was younger.
Yeah.
But I never knew that growing up.
She didn't tell you.
No, until I found her guitar. She had put her guitar in a big cabinet that they had made
Why?
in the basement. I don't know why.
Could she play
She was
fine?
playing piano.
So she shifted.
moved up. Yeah, she shifted from guitar to piano. She was self-taught on the piano.
No wonder.
So she'd be playing all these tunes from the 1800s, early 1900s, 1940s, 50s.
Riding on a shooting
And she had
star.
it was piano rolls too that she would play, and I'd be playing around her, and then she,
You see the talent. You
yeah.
see, yeah.
So I discovered the guitar, and it was in this closet. I didn't know it was a guitar. I was 4 years old,
Yeah.
and I crawled into this cabinet,
Yeah.
brought this thing out.
Good thing it wasn't a gun.
Well, I know, huh? But listen, it had a shocking power was a weapon, was a creativity weapon. I brought it back out. I closed the cabinet door. There was a window, cellar window, with the sun coming through. It was early morning, and the sunlight was coming through, and all the motes were there.
Yeah.
And I remember my right hand going out, and the strings were on it. It was out of tune.
Yeah.
And I remember going across the 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st string, and I was transported by the sound.
Well, what did she do with you? Did she say, get out of that? Or
No, she said, I went to her and I said, what is this?
Yeah.
It's a guitar, it's an instrument, like the piano. And I said, well, I want to learn how to play.
And she taught you.
No, because that wasn't going to work. She tried teaching me on the piano. Mom and son
Yeah.
clashed.
No.
Yeah, so she found me this teacher in Fall River, and I stayed with him from the age of 4 till I was 17.
Piano.
Classical guitar.
Classical guitar. I remember I went through years of piano and the recitals, got bored with that. Then they gave me guitar lessons, got bored with that too. I remember that. Keith, we got about a minute left. How can they get a hold of you in your new book?
Again, go to my website, www.immortalitywars.com, and I think you'll enjoy it, and you'll find information on the books and on me. And there's a blog. I keep a blog. I write about inspirational people that I've met. And hey, thanks for having me on here.
Hey, Ricky's coming back because I want to see this the last of this particular trilogy. And my husband's a huge sci-fi fan, so he reads it. So, he's already got a couple of big fans. We met you at the huge Rhode Island Expo.
Authors Expo.
When was that? Last December?
December.
No, it was in Cranston, right? Was it?
Yes.
Yeah, at the, what's that called, that building? Oh, something on the...
Roads on the Patuxent.
Roads on the Pawtucket.
Patuxent.
Pawtucket. Yeah. So you're going to be back there again, right? They're going to
Yes.
have another one in December.
Yes.
Are you going to have to remind me about this? Okay. 'Cause
Okay.
it's just overwhelming in there. To me,
There's about 130 to 140 authors,
packed.
which is, I mean, if you're a book fanatic,
Yeah.
that's a place to be.
Yeah, but I can't stop at every single one. I'd run out of time. And I feel bad walking by people.
Yeah.
We saw your sign. We did not walk by this. We were like, whoa, this guy's got it nailed. Right?
What was that movie that Gene Wilder did?
Oh, I
The
love
Candy
Gene.
thing.
Candy? Gene Wilder?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, Chocolate Factory?
Yeah,
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Going into this chocolate factory, it's like that's what this book fair is like.
Yeah.
You're going into like not Candyland, but Bookland.
Well, one of the authors said, she says, I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So when you got an author who's overwhelmed, this isn't, I don't know, I've been to other ones, but this is, it's good though, it's really fun. And you're going to be in it again, right?
Right.
All right.
And they have panels too that they talk about writing.
Yes, they have little classes you can go
Yeah.
to. All right, we're going to get, he's coming back. We'll see you next time, I'll be my guest.